If you guys are interested in Oculus Quest 2, Zenith VR MMO, or A Township Tale VR content and updates, then go ahead and like the video, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss out on any future videos. Welcome back to Quest World, guys. Now, the other day, I did a video for you guys on request on all the jobs that currently exist in A Township Tale. But today, we're going to put a twist on it, and I'm going to tell you 10 jobs I want us to get in A Township Tale. And I want to go ahead and put a disclaimer on this. These are not 10 jobs I'm saying that are coming. These are not 10 jobs I'm saying will completely, totally, logistically work in any sense. They're just 10 jobs that I think would be very interesting to see come to the game, and I think some even possible. And on another note, some of these jobs may even possibly fall into the other category that we covered in that video. So without any further ado, let's log into it. So these jobs aren't in any particular order or anything, but we're just going to go ahead and count 1 through 10 for you guys. In number 1, I'm going to say a king or a mayor, some sort of leadership position. Maybe they intended on this being the player who has access to the server settings or something. But it would be cool to see an actual skill tree for the king or mayor. It's basically, it would just be interesting to see how that role would actually work. Maybe the king or mayor would have to be voted for, so it's like a side job. And a lot of these jobs could also be side jobs, because in this game you can kind of have 3 jobs or 4 jobs if you want. You can be everything or really just play one thing. Moving on to number 2, a monk, any kind of monk really. I'm kind of curious to see how they would make that work in this game. A monk maybe having healing magic or something, possibly even just having a chapel that they maintain. I would love to see what they would do with that. How interesting would it be to play as the monk in an RPG where most of this stuff is based off of crafting and mining? What kind of job could you make that viable for? Most of the jobs in the game somehow help each other out. So if you're a woodcutter and a blacksmith and the craftsman, all of those jobs kind of help each other out, and they coalesce with each other alongside with like the miner and the cook. So I really want to see, what would the monk do? I really think it would just be a healer class, right? Number 3, a rancher. So you don't see anyone collecting the chickens or like cows or anything like that to basically make food more sustainable. And we did talk about the other day that it's coming that we'll get a farmer, but a rancher would be a really nice add-on as a extra character, maybe just something you visit occasionally. You feed your little chickens or whatever and your cows basically to turn into ingredients like you would in a lot of the other parts of the game. Like the farmer's supposed to harvest grain and carrots, so why not make a rancher that could harvest the meat part of all of your stuff? Number 4, a fisherman, a player that could fish out animals from the water for an extra food and nutrient source, but also that the craftsman, blacksmith, and carpenter would all get new recipes to make the tools for the fisherman. Think about it. The craftsman would have to make his line and maybe his hooks, and the blacksmith would have to make probably the handle and mechanical parts, while the carpenter has to make the rod, so it would be a nice thing to see. And it would also give you more of a reason to maybe craft like a bucket so that you could store fish in the bucket or something. Number 5, a leather worker. We have this close when we have the craftsman, but everyone is the craftsman. So it would be nice to see a character with skills oriented towards just building everything in the leather shop. And this could go from whenever they add armor to the game, perhaps, or maybe just making like leather shields and leather wraps for weapons, also added on to like the leather backpacks, and but maybe leather capes or leather cloaks. I think that's something that you could add on to the back of the character without messing up the dynamic of a lot of the character sprites. Number 6, a trainer. I don't mean a Pokemon trainer. I don't mean like a creature capturer. I mean someone to train other players and how they do their job. So basically, a trainer could possibly be more like a teacher role, or a knowledge passing role. So maybe you were a carpenter and you have a certain level of carpentry skill, and now you can become a trainer and take a new player, and they will learn carpentry faster than just learning it on their own, because not only are you actually teaching them carpentry, but the game can maybe push them through their XP a little quicker because they have like an apprenticeship in this particular position. I think a trainer slash apprenticeship would be an interesting take on a lot of the job roles in town. If they do have something like this, please let me know in the comments below. Number 7, guard slash police. And what would the guards do? Now, I have two answers to this. I have the game answer on what they could do inside the game functionally for the players, but also the logistical answer. The guards could have access possibly to the ability to boot players from your server who are causing trouble. Perhaps there's someone who's running around taking everyone's tools and they're just not adhering to the rules of the server that you set up. And a guard or a police agent or whatever you want to call them of your server could boot that person from the server, and maybe they're allowed to put bans and stuff on other players. And if there's a guard that gets out of hand, you can always have the person who runs that server boot that guard from the server. And so, of course, you would only trust certain people that you could probably trust with your server to be your guard, but still, it would give you a way to share the authority of the server and allow it to be watched even while you're not playing on it, because as you know, other people can still access your server while you're not playing. The second answer on what they could do in the game is obvious. They can back up people going in the dungeons and keep those stupid little chickens from attacking you in town. Number 8, a scribe. It would be really cool to see a character that could help you basically come up with recipes faster for the books because he's a scribe. Perhaps the scribe is just capable of acquiring knowledge about the game, lore, text, and he can basically collect it in one building to where all the players, as the scribe finishes his work, they can go view it inside of this building. Just like with any other player crafting stuff that you can go view at their buildings, whether it's at the wood workshop or at the blacksmithing shop or something, you can always go look at what you've created. So for the scribe, it would just be books and knowledge and paintings and pictures, and that would be a really interesting take on, and also a very relaxing take on this game. Perhaps you don't have the hammerhead tool blueprint that you need to craft this particular hammer. Go to the scribe, maybe he has it. It would be interesting to see a character that has the ability to just unlock random blueprints without having to go into the dungeon, based off of knowledge and skills. Number 9 is a mage. We don't have magic yet, but having the crystals in the game gives us the ability to basically use some special powers and abilities, but it would be cool to see a character basically oriented all the way around this with skill trees and just make that character a mage fueled off the crystals, and then you don't even have to add a magic bar or anything like that. They would also have to be kind of a mage that's a battle mage where they carry a melee weapon to back themselves up, but that would be a cool character to see. Maybe they carry potions to teleport out, but they've got magic, and as long as they're holding crystals, they can cast magic in one hand, hold crystal in the other to spend it maybe. Or maybe they can make a device that you just insert crystals into it, similar to your lantern. That's like a wand, and it just spins until you run out of crystal power. A mage would be a really cool but possibly meta thing to add to the game. And number 10 is a rogue. And again, these are things that could be in the other class, but a rogue would be really cool to see because they would be kind of like the miner in the way that they would be your secondary treasure hunter, to have them be able to see in the darkness of the caverns and the caves or at night. It would be awesome to see them maybe just have a bit better visual in the dark, or maybe light expands further for the rogue, or maybe they are just completely invisible while they're in the dark. All kinds of opportunities would be available, and what you could do is just make it to where for their particular skill set that they would want to use smaller weapons and things like that. Well guys, that was just 10 classes I would like to see come to A Township Tale. And again, these are just opinions. I don't think they're all going to make it. I do believe that they're all great ideas, and if the devs wanted to watch this video and take any of those ideas and envelop them into the game, I would not mind. Call me if you want some more ideas. Remember that if you would like to join the conversation on any of the topics we cover on the channel, come on over to the Facebook group, Discord, or Patreon. We really appreciate all the likes, comments, and subscribes, all the support from all viewers. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please keep watching.